can you tell me where you were born?
I was born at the Live and Let live in Pirton.
And why was that?
Well, I think my parents were there because my mother's parents lived there.
And who were they?
Edwin and Elizabeth Wilshire.
Oh, right, yes. And then after your birth, where did you go then?
I went back to the Blacksmith Arms then. I lived there then.
What why the Blacksmith's Arms?
Mum and Dad lived there, and his father lived there.
Oh, who was his father?
Frank Titmuss.
And he ran the Blacksmith's Arms?
Yes.
And what did your dad do?
My dad, he did some decorating, building things and hair cutting.
Yes.
In his spare time.
Okay.
And used to mend bicycles.
Yes.
Yes.
So he had a shop after...
That's right.
When did they have the shop then?
Started it about 1927.
Ah, I see. Was that after his father died?
Yes.
Yes. And what about the hair cutting? Where did he do that?
In the small cottage just down from the house.
Yes. And did he learn her hair cutting or something, or?
I think he learned that when he was in the army.
Oh right. Was he in the First World War then?
Yes. And I think he got wounded about 3 times, and then he didn't go back up the front anymore.
Oh, why was that?
After 3 times, I don't think he did something for some reason or other.
Yeah. So what sort of job did he do in the army after that?
He did in the stores.
Oh right.
Yeah.
And he was a corporal, wasn't he?
Yes.
In the stores. Did he tell you about any of the battles he was in?
Well, he used to mention the Somme and Passchendaele and Wipers, as they used to call it, Ypres, but those sort of places that you hear talked about. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when did you first start, going to chapel, anything to do with chapel?
When I was 3, Lizzie Fair took me to Sunday school. Yes, that's when I went.
And where was the Sunday school?
Down the bottom of what we call the High Street now.
Yes.
On the right-hand side as you go down.
Was that the old chapel?
The old chapel, yeah.
And can you remember anything about Sunday school?
Not a lot. I know we used to have parties and Christmas parties, and used to have days out into the seaside in the summer.
Yeah, where did you go to the sea? Whereabout did you go?
Clacton, Felixstowe, Yarmouth, Skegness, Southend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
I had a coach. But sometimes there were 3 coaches.
Were
There were a lot of people then, because everybody... Well, it's the only thing a lot of people did in those days. They didn't have holidays like we do now. No.
So, before you started to go to the seaside, did you go anywhere else?
We did go to Wicksteed Park, and we went to the zoo. We used to go to the zoo. London Zoo.
London Zoo?
Yeah.
Do you remember that, or not really?
Well, I can just remember going there. And at Wicksteed Park, it was all swings and those sort of things, slides and sand. But
Yes, not like it is now.
well, I haven't been there, but I understand there's a lot more there.
A lot more there now.
Yeah.
And were there other coaches in the village besides whose coach did you go on?
We used to go on Charlie Taylor's coach. I think they were from Shillington originally.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But before that, do you remember going on anybody's coach from
I'm
the
not
village?
sure that we didn't go on the one Pirton Bell once in the village, but
Who ran the Pirton Bell then?
Percy Ride,
Oh right, where was that?
up by what's now the Mott.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
What was it before then?
the White Horse. But I think the Mott is the original, I understand.
Yes.
Yes,
Ah.
yeah.
And what about, I think you've told me about another little coach in the village.
Yes, that used to live in the centre of the village. They used to call it the Chocolate Soldier.
And who owned that?
Mr. Shepherd.
And what was his name?
I don't know what, they used to call him Aranula, but I don't know what his other name was. It was Mr. Shepherd anyway.
And who drove for Mr. Shepherd?
Leslie Walker, most of the time.
Was he one of the Baker Walkers?
That's it, yeah.
The one that lived in Holwell Road?
Yes.
What about the parties at the chapel?
Yeah, we used to have, well, sandwiches and jellies, and I know they used to mix up egg with a little mayonnaise to make it go farther sometimes. But we used to have paste in those days. I don't know about now, but
Who made the paste then?
we bought them in the jars, didn't they?
It was
Little jars, Shippen's paste.
Shippen's paste.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. And did you play games and things at the parties?
Yes, we played in and out the windows and past the parcel and the musical bumps and Farmer's in his den and nuts and may.
And how often did you go to Sunday school? On a Sunday, how often did people go to chapel?
Well, we used to go to Sunday school in the morning, but chapel was afternoon and evening. But I know we used to go to Sunday school in the afternoon, remember from later on, to start with, and then they used to go up to chapel halfway through the Sunday school sort of thing, for the first half of the service in the afternoon.
And who ran the Sunday school?
Mr. Briggs from Offley and Mr. Hanscom in Pirton.
And was that Frisbee Hanscom?
Frisbee, yes.
That lived down the...
Norloke Lane.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
And when you were older, was there a youth club there?
We used to have a junior guild on a Wednesday night.
And where was that?
At the old Sunday school, yeah.
And what sort of things did you do at the guild?
I think we used to play games. The lady came from up high down then. That I think she used to tell us a little story, perhaps, and that. But you know, I don't.
Not much. Did you go round? Did you have sort of special events at chapel? Did you have concerts, anniversaries, that sort of thing?
Oh, we had anniversaries, yeah. Sunday school anniversary. We used to have a chapel anniversary in those days.
What did you do at anniversaries?
Well, Sunday school anniversary, we always used to learn some new, not actually hymns, we have a leaflet with some reading on it and some hymns and whatnot. Sometimes it was all hymns. And chapel anniversary, we used to have somebody special come, and then we used to have tea in the village hall, because you see we hadn't got anywhere good to have it then in those days, not really.
No.
No.
So that if the village hall was built about 1930, mid 35.
There, yeah. Well, we used to have, had it a bit in the old Sunday school, then they moved up to there till we got the new Sunday school.
When did you get the new Sunday school?
61 or 2, I think.
Yeah. And was then the old chapel sold off?
Yes, made into a house.
Yes, called Wesley.
Wesley, yes.
And what about started playing the organ? You've been playing the organ at chapel for a very long time.
Yes, well, that's why I did that, because we went up there for Sunday school in the rest of the afternoon. So I just played, because I was already playing for that, so I just carried on from that, really, that's all.
And how old were you when you started, roughly?
Oh, I don't know. I started playing for evening services in 1938, I know that, when I was expecting Ruby. Because that's how old she is, you see.
So, what do you mean, Ivy? Ivy
Taylor.
Did she not used to play originally then?
She used to play, yes. Yeah.
And then when she was expecting the baby, Ruby, that you started. And did you have lessons?
No.
So how did you know how to play the organ?
I don't know, just did. Somehow.
Did your mum play?
She used to play the piano, yeah.
And did you have a piano in your house?
Yes. Yeah, she used to play for they used to have a bright hour, they called it, on a Wednesday afternoon meeting, ladies' meeting. She used to play for that.
What was the bright hour?
They used to have somebody, like a service.
Yes.
A big service. Yeah.
Yes. And did your dad go to chapel too?
No, not very often.
Just your mum?
Yeah.
Yes. So you've been at chapel for...
A long time.
91 years.
Oh.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.